The 2022 Los Angeles Angels were very good at the beginning of the year. They were well over 500 heading into the month of June before they just had a generational collapse. Now, there were many flaws with the 2022 Angels, but heading into 2023, Perry Manassian has been putting in work this offseason to try to improve the roster. And since I haven't made a video since the beginning of the offseason, today I wanted to give you my review of the Angels offseason so far and what moves I think they should make next if they want to be a playoff contending team next year. What is up, YouTube? It is your boy Namar Sports here, coming back at you with another MLB video. Today we're going to be going over the Angels 2022-2023 offseason so far and talking about what moves I like, which moves I maybe didn't like, and what moves I think we need to make if we want this roster to be good enough to maybe not contend for the AL West, but at least contend for an AL wild card, get Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout to the playoffs for once in their lives, and maybe just have an exciting season in Anaheim for once, for maybe the first time since like 2014. So before we get into today's video, I'd like to give a special shout out to Thrive Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Check them out at the link in my description. Use promo code NMR when you make your first deposit. $10 gets you $60 worth of money in free bets. You get a 100% deposit match up to $100. You also get some free contest entries. $10 gets you two $20 contest entries, and $100 gets you 4 free contest entries. It's free money. I don't know what you're still doing here. Click on that link, come back to this video once you're done, and go make some money tomorrow for NFL Sunday. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video and start talking about the 2022 Angels and this offseason. Now, the 2022 Angels, a lot of people, because the Angels have had a problem when it comes to pitching their entire existence, it feels like the last 20 years. Everyone always likes to point to pitching. Whenever we sign a big bat or trade for a big bat, everyone's like, where's the pitching? Where's the pitching? Where's the pitching? But if you look at the 2022 Angels, yes, they were good in the 1 through 3 spots. That's going to happen when you have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani up there, and then Luis Rengifo had a very good year. But when it comes to the 4 through 9 spots, the Angels were the worst team in all of baseball. 71 WRC plus. That's worse than the Pirates. That's worse than the Tigers. The Tigers were the worst offensive team I've ever seen in my life. The Marlins was worse than the Marlins, the A's. It was worse than every other team in all of baseball. They didn't hit for power. They didn't hit for average. They weren't slugging. They weren't getting on base. There was literally nothing going on after the number 3 spot in the Angels order last year. Now, I know Anthony Rendon got hurt. That was a contributing factor. Jared Walsh was dealing with some sort of thoracic outlet syndrome, whatever it's called. He was dealing with that the entire season, and there was a lot left to be desired with the bottom of this order. But that was the biggest problem with the Angels last year. There was no depth behind their stars. We all know they got the star power with Trout, Ohtani, and of course, Anthony Rendon. We got some big stars in the lineup, but as soon as Rendon went out with his wrist injury, as soon as Mike Trout missed a month of the season, we were just cooked. There was absolutely nothing left behind this roster. You had guys like Andrew Velazquez, Juan Lagares, Jonathan VR we picked up for like a week. There was a lot of these random nobodies that shouldn't have been starting on a major league team that were starting for the majority of the Angels 2022 season. Now, as far as the pitching goes, like I said, it wasn't terrible. When you look at our starting pitching right here, when it comes to fielding independent pitching, you can see the Angels had the 10th lowest fielding independent pitching rating in all of baseball last year. So they actually realistically had close to a top 10 rotation in baseball, very quietly, I might add. You can actually see they had the 6th lowest ERA in all of baseball. That's, of course, being carried on the back of 4th place finisher in the Cy Young, Shohei Ohtani. Patrick Sandoval had a good year. Reed Detmer started to look really good after the All-Star break. Even Jose Suarez was really picking up the pace. And then, of course, we traded Noah Syndergaard away, and Mike Lorenzen looked pretty good. So we had some good starting pitching performances with the Angels. Now, when you look at the 2022 Angels bullpen, it was an absolute train wreck. You can see here 27th in fielding independent pitching here, and then when it comes to ERA amongst teams' relief pitchers, they were actually the 18th best in all of baseball. So below average when it comes to ERA and well below average when it comes to fielding independent pitching. That bullpen was just a train wreck. Raisel Iglesias got off to a slow start and ended up getting traded. Aaron Loop didn't look good. Ryan Tepera didn't look good. Those were our big free agent guys last offseason that I really thought were going to be solid. But when you look at some of these teams who are good with their bullpens, you can see the Baltimore Orioles, top 10 bullpen. The Orioles didn't really go out and make any flashy free agent relief pitching signings last offseason. It was mostly in-house guys that you didn't expect to be elite that kind of morphed into these elite relief pitchers. So when it comes to the 2023 Angels bullpen, I really don't think that these splashy free agent relief pitching signings are the way to go. I honestly think that it's more of an in-house thing the Angels should go for. If you look here at the Rocket City Trash Pandas last year, we all know Ben Joyce was an Angels draft pick last year, and we all knew he had elite stuff, but it absolutely translated. Small sample size, hear me out, but 13 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts per nine, almost 14 strikeouts per nine, 2.12 FIP, and then a 2.08 ERA. The dude was just absolutely phenomenal. He was lights out in Double-A last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring him to spring training and see if he can pitch to major league talent. And if he can, I would love to see him on the roster come opening day, if not be a midseason call-up. Eric Torres, this dude has to be on the opening day roster. Look at this. 51 innings pitched, 14.2 strikeouts per nine, 2.94 FIP, 1.59 ERA, 82% of batters left on base. This dude is elite. This dude is elite. You're telling me this guy couldn't be a league average relief pitcher? That's what we're looking for. We need a bullpen full of league average relief pitchers with one or two elite guys. If Ben Joyce or Eric Torres can fill that mold, I would absolutely love it. Same thing with Luke Murphy, was really solid last year. 2.62 ERA, 3.1 FIP, 44 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts per nine. That's pretty good. Seminaris, he got traded to the Brewers, unfortunately, so he's probably going to be a stud with them with how they develop their pitching. But Colton Ingram, I'd love to see on the Angels next season. Chase Silseth did get called up last season, and he had flashes of looking pretty good, but they seem to like him more as a starter than a relief pitcher. But you can see there's 5 or 6 guys here that the Angels could really use in their bullpen next year. I don't think they need to go out and make any big splashy free agent signings. You just know if they sign Aroldis Chapman, he's going to be a train wreck. You know if they sign Kenley Jansen, he's going to be a train wreck. The Angels just have a bad history of signing these aging arms. Craig Kimbrell would be another one that would be a train wreck in Anaheim. You just have to work on developing your younger pitching, and that's how you build an elite bullpen. The Mariners did it last year. The Orioles did it last year. Even other teams that are known for spending money like the Yankees. The Yankees did it last year. All of these teams, the Guardians, they do it every year, it feels like. All of these teams seem to build their bullpen, not mainly from free agent signings, but from interior development. Now let's talk a little bit about the Angels' free agent acquisitions or trade acquisitions here. As you can see, we got Hunter Renfroe. Hunter Renfroe, a really good signing. I wasn't sure how I felt about it at the time, but this is the kind of the moves that the Angels need to make. Last offseason or off seasons in the past, we loved seeing these splashy moves. I loved it when they signed Anthony Rendon. Obviously, when they signed Shohei Ohtani, that was a big deal. But these are the kind of acquisitions the Angels need to make if they want to continue to develop and be a good team 1 through 9. Hunter Renfroe is so much better than Joe Adell. It is not even funny. Like, this is not an elite top 5 outfielder, but it's so much better than Joe Adell. It is so much better than Joe Adell. Look at this, 285 plate appearances last year, 224, 264, 373. Hunter Renfroe last season in 500 plate appearances, 255, 315, 492. He had an 807 OPS versus Joe Adell's 637. That is a huge jump in production for our third best outfielder, depending on how Taylor Ward comes out next year. So Trout, Ward, and Renfroe is so much better than Trout, Ward, and Adell. And then having Adell on the bench, Adell can hit and he's fast. You see this. He's in the 98th percentile of speed last year. Max exit velo was 83. We know he can hit the ball hard, but he's just not a starting caliber outfielder at the moment. So adding Hunter Renfroe to this team is awesome. Another one we picked up, Gio Urshella. This is not the sexiest Baseball Savant page I've ever seen in my life, but it gets the job done. This is so much better than David Fletcher. This is so much better than Andrew Velasquez. This is so much better than Tyler Wade. Is Gio Urshela going to get MVP votes next year? No, but he is a huge step up from the guys we were using in the infield after we had some injuries last year. So Gio Urshela, I love the move. Same thing with Hunter Renfroe. They aren't moving the needle like crazy, but the production in batters 4 through 9 is going to be so much better than it was last year. If you look at our projected lineup right now, you can see Luis Rengifo leading off. I don't necessarily love that. I still think we need to add another second baseman and or a shortstop, but Luis Rengifo leading off. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt now. Trout in the number 2 spot, best hitter in baseball, obviously. Shohei Ohtani, one of the best hitters in baseball. Taylor Ward had a huge season last year, which is awesome. I love him there. Honestly, I'd probably have him batting leadoff, but to each their own. Anthony Rendon in the 5 hole. Hunter Renfroe in the 6 hole. that already the lineup 1 through 6 looks like a legitimate lineup, a legitimate playoff caliber lineup there. And then you add Jared Walsh, depending on if he's going to be fully healthy next season or not. Gio Urshela is currently slated at shortstop. I don't love that. I like Gio Urshela kind of moving around a little bit, playing some first base, playing some third base when Rendon or Walsh are not playing. And then Logan O'Hoppe. Logan O'Hoppe was a stud in the minor leagues last year, so I'm really hoping he can come up and that'll translate to the major league level. I'm not saying he's going to, get MVP votes like I was saying. He's not going to be JT Realmuto, but if he could hit like 15 to 20 home runs next year, I could realistically see that happening. That is a huge step up from Max Stassi and Kurt Suzuki's production last year. And Max Stassi as a backup, I honestly really enjoy that. They got Matt Thaiss stated to start to be on our bench, as well as David Fletcher and Mickey Moniak. So honestly, I really like where this team's at. It's the lineup is a lot better right now than it was last season currently. I do think we need one more splashy free agent signing, whether that's Dansby Swanson, who we've been rumored to be on. Maybe they make a trade for somebody like, I heard Tim Anderson's name thrown around. I don't think we have the capital to make that trade, but it could happen. Correa would be nice, but I don't want to spend that money on Correa if there's a chance we could sign Ohtani. And then I really, my number one shortstop right now, some people don't like it, but I really want Xander Bogaerts. Xander Bogaerts is the image of consistency. He's always going to bat in the upper 200s to 300s. I'm not a big batting average guy, but I like that he puts the ball in play. He plays serviceable defense at shortstop. I know he's had a bad couple of years in the past, but he was much better last season. And he can hit for a little bit of pop as well. So in this lineup with protection around him, you add Xander Bogaerts to this lineup, that is a playoff caliber lineup. That is absolutely a playoff caliber lineup. So, okay, and then the last free agent signing the Angels have made so far, that is Tyler Anderson. Now, Tyler Anderson, these are some damn good numbers last year. Of course, he was with the Dodgers, so I would like to knock him down a peg. Let's take a look at his 2021 numbers. Honestly, this is pretty solid. He's never been a big strikeout guy, but he throws strikes and he doesn't allow hard hit balls. If he can continue to do this, the Angels defense behind him can be pretty solid. We know Mike Trout's solid defensively. Taylor Ward isn't great defensively, but he's picked it up a little bit. Renfroe's got a great arm out there in the outfield. David Fletcher's elite defensively. Anthony Rendon is very good defensively. They've got a very good defense behind them, especially if they sign one of those big shortstops. So I really like the addition of Tyler Anderson. However, this rotation is not scary. It's good. It is above average, absolutely, but it's not scary. Shohei Ohtani is terrifying, don't get me wrong. But Tyler Anderson, Patrick Sandoval, and Reed Detmers are good, solid, average to above average starting pitchers, and then Jose Suarez is serviceable. I would love to see one more big arm in this rotation. If we could sign Rendon, and a good shortstop and call it an offseason, we are a playoff team. That is about the only scenario I can see where I can confidently say the Angels are a playoff team if we signed Rendon. Can you imagine Shohei Ohtani, Carlos Rodon, Tyler Anderson, Patrick Sandoval, Reed Detmers with Jose Suarez and Chase Silseth sharing that sixth spot, maybe Chris Rodriguez if he comes back? That would be a scary rotation in order to go with our solid lineup, as well as some of those young bullpen arms probably carrying their own. So I would love to see one splashy starting pitcher move. I don't want another one of these mid-tier guys. I don't want, Chris Bassett's good, but I want a very good to elite starting pitcher here. And realistically, Rodon's the only guy I could see filling that spot there, especially with DeGrom off the board, which the Angels were never going to pay $37 million for DeGrom anyway. So that is my thoughts on the starting rotation. And then, like I said, on the bullpen, I don't love this bullpen at all when I look at it. I like Jimmy Herget. I'm fine with Tepera and Loop being in the bullpen. I just don't want them to be our closer and setup man. I'd like them to be, just low leverage relief pitching options unless they start to get hot maybe. Andrew Wantz is serviceable, same thing with Quijada, but as far as Barria, Ortega, Zach Weiss, and Tucker Davidson, I want all of these guys gone and fill them with guys like Eric Torres, Luke Murphy, Ben Joyce, Colton Ingram, those guys. So hopefully that all works out. It's the Angels, so it never works out, but I can be hopeful at least. So that is my review of the 2023 Angels off-season so far. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me down in the comments. I think it's a very, very good start. I just don't think we are quite there yet. I do think we're going to add somebody at shortstop. I don't know who I want. I'm fine with Dansby Swanson, but I'd prefer Xander Bogaerts or Carlos Correa. Trey Turner scares me. I could already see him him being another albatross Angels contract 2 years from now, just like Anthony Rendon. So let me know if you agree with my takes in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe for more MLB content, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. I hope you have a great rest of your day.